People who can fall asleep within 8 seconds of their head hitting their pillow. How the fuck do you fall asleep within 8 seconds of your head hitting your pillow? I'm a firefighter and my one partner says what he likes least about me is my ability to fall asleep so fast after returning from a call. It helps to be physically tired. Much easier to fall asleep when your body has been engaged in physical activity during the day. I try to lay perfectly still and not allow myself to scratch my nose if it itches, for example. I just ignore the itch and next thing I know, it's time to get up. I just discovered that there are people with an inner monologue and this voice in their head allows them to have silent discussions and worry about decisions and whatnot. I don't have this. I don't have any voices talking to me. My preference is also to listen to a documentary on YouTube or Netflix. I set my timer on my phone to stop playing after 20 minutes and rarely stay awake till the end. I'm very well versed on the first 10 minutes of Wii. My brother is one of these people, and I asked him this recently. The trick is a clean conscience. I got nothing to think about. Me, how do you not think about anything? I dunno. I just stop thinking. He's 16. Not thinking is the key. I had to train myself to completely clear my mind. Start by cutting inner monologues. Imagine you were born deaf and think primarily in images. Then cut those and just focus on what you feel. The last step is to tune out those sensations. In the beginning, you will only be able to sustain it for a couple seconds, but you'll be able to go longer with time. Eventually, it'll be second nature. In the beginning, my primary goal was to remove the stress of my life for a moment through meditation, but it ended up being a useful way to fall asleep. Also, I don't remember the last time I've woken up in the middle of the night. The only downside is that I sleep like the dead and never dream. I just close my eyes as if to blink, and when I open them back up, it's morning, and my wife is pissed that I missed my alarm. For me it was a learned skill. Thank you US Army. They pushed me to work from Ravalli to TAPS, and only allowed for 5 to 6 hours of sleep, and I need 7 to 8. I wore an alarm watch. Any break during the day? Oh. I have 25 minutes. Set alarm watch. Prop against a tree, or lay down anywhere I could. Bam, asleep. My wife is still amazed at how I do it. I'm a lifelong insomniac, but my sister could fall asleep on her way to the pillow and sleep through the car going over train tracks. I wake up if a mouse farts across the street. I never got it. I've worked 20 plus shifts and be ridiculously tired and still takes me 20 to 30 minutes at least. So, IDK what the answer is, I think it's just brain chemistry. I use a meditation method I learned in a yoga class. Lay flat on your back, take deep breaths through your nose. As you exhale, mentally relax each muscle group starting with your face and working down to your toes. Try to imagine exhaling through your muscles and out through your toes. Imagine your body slowly melting into your bed. This usually takes about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Next, imagine as vividly as possible a river. It helps if you use one from memory. I personally use a combination of the River Wild movie and memories from a family trip to the Green River. Imagine yourself walking out to the middle of the river. Let yourself get lost in the flow around you. Try to imagine any stray thoughts as floating to you on the river. As you think of things, set them in the water and watch them float away. This process without fail gets me to sleep within 10 minutes if I'm having trouble sleeping. But like Ralph Wiggum, sleep is where I'm a Viking. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Sorry for my abysmal Simpsons knowledge. I think I really just wanted Ralph to be an amazing genius who kills people in space and commits genocide. You can't think, don't think of anything real or about falling asleep. Once you do, you'll never go to sleep. Best trick I've found when I don't fall asleep easy is to put myself in a movie. Like imagine yourself walking through the gates of Hogwarts. What happens next? All up to you, and just let your imagination flow. Eventually you'll fall asleep without realizing it. Okay, so after years of tossing and turning and having horrible sleeps, I've come close to nailing my routine. Exercise during the day. Wake up and go to bed at the same time every day, if possible. That way your body knows when it's time to crash. Magnesium supplement with melatonin and GABA about an hour before I want to fall asleep. Weighted blanket. For whatever reason helps me relax like nothing else. I actually can now usually fall asleep within a few minutes of going to bed, but if not I'd play a little mind game. Body scanning is a solid one. Just imagine a ray of sunlight slowly going over you from your toes to your head, and relax your muscles as the sunlight goes over them. I hope that makes sense. There's a lot of guided meditations on YouTube that can walk you through it. I also pick a category and try to name one thing in that category for every letter of the alphabet. X fruits, apple, banana, cantaloupe. And finally I sometimes imagine walking down to the beach near my house and taking a nap there, although I rarely make it far enough to take a nap now. None of this stuff works right away, but even one can make a huge difference with some commitment, so just give it a bit of time. Edit to at, keep your room cold. This one actually worked for me a bit more quickly, because I have issues with nightmares, to the point where my husband literally can calm me down in his sleep, and I saw a major correlation between that and the heat of my room. I switched from a duvet that had me waking up drenched in sweat to a weighted blanket with a bamboo cover that manages to not trap my body heat. Apparently hot showers before bed and wearing warm socks can also help you cool down as your body tries to self-regulate or something. I recently changed everything in my room. Bedding, window treatments, making sure the room is dark and that I'm able to get comfortable, a proper pillow that doesn't overheat, and lastly the weighted blanket, which is helpful at immobilization and associated with bedtime. I started taking GABA about 45 minutes before bed on stressful days. Since I started falling asleep has gotten so much easier. Reading in bed seems to help too. My mind drifts and then I set the book down and I'm out fast. Made the changes because I used to be a night owl, up all night. I changed jobs and the commute requires so much more time that I have to have a routine. I never used to get more than 5 hours of sleep. Now I get far more and quality sleep. All great suggestions, and it did take time for this to improve. Over the course of 6 months for me. I had to train myself to sleep fast. I went from taking hours upon hours to fall asleep, but now if I say I'm going to bed I'll be asleep for you can say okay, which can sometimes be a bad thing, hahaha. Start by turning off all electronics you are using. Lay down, close your eyes, and no matter what do not open them till morning. At first it's painful, because you'll lay with your eyes shut for hours in boredom, but after a few weeks of doing this every night your body gets trained into falling asleep faster and faster. It's basically breaking the habit of not being able to fall asleep. Hope this helps you sleep better. This is literally me. My husband is just the reverse. The main differences I observe between the two of us. 1. I'm a dodder. He is a thinker. Worrying about stuff keeps him up at night, whereas I go to bed with the reassurance I've done all I can do that day and etc. 2. He brings his phone to bed and browses Reddit. I'm strictly no screens an hour before bed. 3. Other than bringing the phone to bed, he has no routine. By about 9:30, I'm winding down with my skincare routine, washing up, making a hot drink, and then in bed with a book by 10:15 at the latest. 4. Since I'm the high energy person in the relationship, I'm moving and doing things all the time. Get home from work, cooking, have dinner, work out, do some laundry, read before bed. I'm pretty physically tired/drained by the time I hit the pillow. My husband runs at what seems to be a consistently lower energy level, like low enough that he needs a lot of downtime, usually in front of screens, to recharge, but high enough that he doesn't sleep well. My husband and I are the same way, in that I fall asleep instantly, and he tosses and turns for an hour or so. Sometimes he even gets back up and goes out to the living room because he can't get comfortable. That is such a foreign concept to me. Once I'm in bed, I'm out like a light. But then again, I can fall asleep anywhere. I'm more of the thinker though. By the time I get to bed, I've thought myself tired. Then I pass out. There's a proverb in my mother tongue that translates to don't go to bed to sleep. What it essentially means is that one must not go to the bed unless he/she is very sleepy, so sleepy that he'll fall asleep instantly. One must never go to bed to lay down and hope to fall asleep. I made my bed as comfortable and boring as possible. White cotton sheets, white cotton pillowcases, etc. I try to make my bed or at least keep it semi-made because I have an easier time falling asleep when the sheets are straight and my blankets lined up properly. I wear white cotton pajamas without buttons or anything scratchy because if I'm even a little bit uncomfortable it's much harder to fall asleep. I braid my hair before bed, which stops my hair from getting in my face because again, I can't sleep if I'm uncomfortable. As an added bonus, keeping my hair braided stops it from wrapping around my neck and throttling me while I sleep. I use a very heavy blanket. It's not weighted, but I knitted myself, and hand knit blankets weigh more than store-bought blankets. I keep my feet warm, because for some reason that helps. Depending on the season, I'll either use a heated blanket, heating pad, or just wear socks. I don't try to go to bed, unless I actually feel tired. There's this sort of wave of sleepiness that hits me at night, and if I get in bed 20 minutes of that happening, I pass out almost immediately. If I miss that window, I get an adrenaline rush and will be up forever. I try to do soothing, repetitive things at night before bed. Knitting, folding laundry, etc. Sometimes I wear blue light filtering glasses because that is supposed to help your body properly produce sleep hormones. And if it doesn't, well, the placebo effect's pretty powerful too. If nothing else works, I take melatonin and slowly drink a cup of tea while reading Calvin and Hobbes. I've got ADHD, caffeine relaxes me. Clean living and a clear conscience. No, honestly, I have no idea. It's changed. I remember lying in bed awake for hours as a child. Kept night owl hours as a young adult. Slept when I could, when I had babies. Woke instantly if something was wrong in the house. Years of waking up early has given me a reliable internal early alarm. I still stay up late a lot, but when I'm ready for bed it's usually pretty quick. Sometimes I'll put on headphones with music or a podcast. Rarely am I awake longer than a couple of minutes after I get in bed, unless my feet are cold. Keep the bed, and as much as possible the bedroom, for two things, shagging and sleeping. Do nothing else in that damn bed. Don't look at devices, don't read, talk about confusing your body, don't sit around talking to your so, either shag them, or snuggle up, and go to sleep with them. Half an hour before going to bed, drop the lights in the rest of the house. Use lamps only if you can. That's really it. I've had partners over the years amazed that I can do it, but once I've gotten them to follow the above, they have no problem. My name is Yoshikage Kira. I'm 33 years old. My house is in the northeast section of Moriya, where all the villas are, and I'm not married. I work as an employee for the KMU department stores, and I get home every day by 8 PM at the latest. I don't smoke, but I occasionally drink. I'm in bed by 11 PM and make sure I get 8 hours of sleep, no matter what. After having a glass of warm milk and doing about 20 minutes of stretches before going to bed, I usually have no problem sleeping until morning. Just like a baby, I wake up without any fatigue or stress in the morning. I was told there were no issues at my last checkup. I'm trying to explain that I'm a person who wishes to live a very quiet life. I take care not to trouble myself with any enemies, like winning and losing. That would cause me to lose sleep at night. That is how I deal with society, and I know that is what brings me happiness. Although, if I were to fight I wouldn't lose to anyone. Exhaustion. My daughter has type 1 diabetes. I wake up to check on her, or give her insulin or glucose up to 8 times a night. I also have an old dog that needs to go outside 1 to 3 times a night because she can't hold it in well anymore. I work 50 to 60 hours a week and get paged after hours sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I fall asleep before I'm even in bed. It used to be pills, then wine, then vodka and pills, then wine and pills. I mean I'd fall asleep in 4 seconds. Then I got help 12 steps work. Now my new wife and Serenity help me stay asleep. I don't go down so fast anymore, but I do it consciously. That has made all the difference. Sober 2 years. Edit. Grammar. For me it's that I only get in bed under the covers if I'm planning to go to sleep. I don't surf my phone or get on my laptop. I don't have a TV in my bedroom. So mentally my entire life has been, when I get under the covers, it's for sleep. So I fall asleep really fast once I'm lying down in my bed under the covers. However, the flip side of this is I have to be covered, so on a particularly hot summer night, where I really want to be above the covers with a fan on, I can't sleep. If I can't have the weight of blankets, I can't sleep. To me, it seems a bit different. Of course fatigue helps, but I noticed several things. Most of the time, sleep comes natural to me. But when it doesn't, I focus on a few things. 1. State of thoughtlessness, removing all thoughts out of your mind if necessary. To me, I can click them away like Windows in a PC. 2. A calming heartbeat. Slow your breathing, focus on calming yourself down. 3. Breathing. 4. Daydreaming. Once I notice I start getting into light dreams, I know I'm close to sleeping. 5. Relax, loosen your muscles. 6. Comfortable position. Find a spot on your pillow that's comfortable for you and position your arms and pegs that way too. This seems to really work for me. Extra, masturbation helps with 1 to 3. For me at least. The end. Thanks for watching.